What's going on, guys? Super Savage 789 here, bringing you guys another video, and today we're doing What If the Movies Were Canon, Part 5. Now that's something I didn't think I'd be saying, but since it's a special day, being that on my birthday, hopefully if you're seeing this I might got lazy, then I figured we'd do something special and celebrate. You guys seem to love this series, and were pretty bummed when I said I wasn't going to continue it, so let's continue it. In the last part, we covered the events of the Broly and Cell sagas, and how they went with various different factors. There are a lot of changes, so I recommend you go back and check them out, because we don't have time to cover it here. This is already going to be a pretty long part as it is. Of course, the start of the Buu saga arrives with Gohan and Videl starting school. The thing with the Golden Warrior would then play out, ultimately leading to Gohan deciding to become the Great Saiyan Man. Due to him and Videl already having an established relationship, she'd end up becoming the Great Saiyan Man too at the same time that Gohan does, making the duo become an iconic duo even quicker. The beginning of the Buu saga would be rather uneventful, with the typical things occurring. Gohan lets everyone know about his father's return, and they all begin training for it. The only difference is the addition of Turles' family, as well as Videl and Gohan already having a established relationship, as I say. Over in Otherworld, I feel like Goku would be able to convince Pikkon to accompany him to the 25th tournament. He and Pikkon drew in their last match, and he'd wanted to settle the score. Plus, the Bojack gang are present in Hell in case anything goes wrong. So Pikkon and Goku would both come back for the 24 hours. Everyone would arrive at the tournament, meeting the duo present. After the typical interactions, as well as meeting the Supreme Kai, the Kids Division would take place, with Machi being there, as well as Goten and Trunks. To save for time, I personally believe Goten would take the win, as he's been raised as a fighter his whole life. He also would have been trained by a much stronger Gohan and Chi-Chi, so he'd defeat whoever his opponent is in the finals, and take that prize money. In the adult division, there would be 4 new contestants replacing random fodder. Chi-Chi would enter, as in this timeline she's a fighter, and would also want the best chance to win the prize money for the Sun family. Pikkon would enter to have his rematch with Goku, as well as that being the only reason he's back to alive. Turles would enter to also fight Goku, and best Vegeta on top of that. Android 13 would also enter, since he's quite enjoyed that prize money. Bulma can also monitor his body fighting and see what she needs to upgrade next. The first fight would be Android 13 against Krillin. Naturally, Krillin would be nervous, making 13 chuckle, calling him a shorty. Krillin would gather his resolve and rushes out the trucker with all his might, only to get slapped out of the arena in one shot. Better luck next time, Krillin. After Piccolo forfeits to Shin, Videl would enter the arena against Spopovich, dressed in her Great Saiyan Woman attire, albeit a bit different. Her fight would be more one-sided than in Canon, but it'd be in her favour. She had been training for 6 years with a very strong fighter, so naturally she'd be much stronger as well. She was already doing somewhat well in Canon, however here it wouldn't be a contest. She would wipe Spopovich out and rings him out in a few blows, pulling flamboyant poses as she does so to keep up her persona. Next up is Gohan against Kibito, which go like Canon, except Gohan wouldn't need to go Super Saiyan 2. After he gets healed, the majority of the Z fighters leave to stop Babidi, leaving Chi-Chi, 13, 18, and the actual Mighty Mask in the arena, as well as Mr. Satan. Naturally, Mighty Mask gets one shot, leaving the 2 androids and 2 humans in a battle royale. I imagine it would end with 18 winning, and then pretending to lose to Mr. Satan for prize money. The Z fighters show up at Babidi's ship, with the usual things going like normal, leading to Piccolo and Krillin becoming stone statues like normal, as well as Kibito's death. The Z fighters then head inside, with the 3 full-blooded Saiyans play Janken to see where they're fighting, and to Vegeta fighting Pui, Goku fighting Yakon, and Turles fighting Deborah. The fight with Deborah starts out with the Demon King overpowering Super Saiyan Turles, leaving his dirty tricks in the dust. Even a point-blank kill driver does very little to Deborah as he takes minimal damage. Realizing he has to go all out, Turles would enter Super Saiyan 2, where he begins fighting on a much even level. Everyone would be surprised that Turles was able to access such a form. With his power and his sneaky tactics, Turles is able to overpower Deborah to the point where Babidi has to take him out of there to save his life. Babidi would then possess Vegeta like normal, however here Majin Vegeta would have a vendetta against Turles. He challenges Turles to a fight, which Turles begrudgingly accepts, leaving Babidi to teleport the duo to a wasteland to fight. Goku wants to go find them, but Pikkon tells him he should focus on stopping Buu. He realizes his friend is right, so Goku, Pikkon, and Gohan head off to stop Buu. They'd locate Babidi, Deborah, and Buu's egg, where Buu is quick to hatch. Pikkon tells the 2 Saiyans to fight the Jin as he takes on the demon, so Pikkon and Deborah would begin to fight. It being in Pikkon's favor, of him using all the techniques he's learned over the years to overpower Deborah's. Deborah begins to breathe fire as Pycon uses his Hyper Tornado, causing his entire body to ignite as it impacts Deborah. Due to the heat and the velocity, Pycon pierces straight through him, King Piccolo style, leading to Deborah's death. Over Vegeta and Turles, Vegeta would end up having a fight similar to the one with Goku, pretty much beat for beat. Ultimately, it would end the same with Vegeta knocking Turles out and flying over to help fight Buu. Meanwhile, Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Gohan will be doing their best to fight against Fat Buu, and will be doing a pretty good job. Gohan is much stronger here, so fighting Buu is much easier for him. It leads to Buu actually being overwhelmed by the father and son, which backs him into a corner. Naturally being Gohan, his power would begin to get to his head. He begins getting more and more cocky as he fights Buu, mocking him and calling him names as he watches the childish creature struggle to keep up. Goku tells Gohan to hurry up and finish him, but unfortunately that falls on deaf ears. Majin Buu would begin to scream in rage as he has temper tantrum, making Gohan laugh. His opponent can't even control his temper enough to fight him. Buu would then proceed to split apart into good and evil Buu, which shocks everyone nearby. Both of the Boos begin to fight, with everyone spectating it. It allows Pycon the opportunity to kill Babidi while this fight occurs. Yet again, Goku tells his son to step in, but he tells his dad not to worry. He'll wait until they wear each other out, and then he'll kill them when they're weak. Evil Buu would then eat Fat Buu and become Super Buu, demonstrating his overwhelming power quite clearly. Like a caveman, he'd merely point towards Gohan and screeches, indicating he wants a fight. Gohan powers up and the duo go back to fighting yet again. Buu would easily overpower Gohan, and after a very quick fight, he'd unleash a massive blast, leaving Gohan in a near-death state, with everyone assuming he's dead just like in Canon. Buu would then turn back to the others as Vegeta returns, telling them all he'll handle it. Goku tells him he'll die, but the prince tells him he knows. He'll take the monster out with him. While Goku wants to argue, Pycon tells him this is the only shot they have, so begrudgingly they'd all leave Vegeta to his final explosion, which would be futile. They'd head to Capsule Corp, but Goku stops Bulma using any more wishes other than the one she uses to revive everyone. Everyone would then head to the lookout, and begins to come up with a plan to defeat Buu, ultimately landing on fusion. The question would then arrive as to who will be fusing, ultimately landing on Goten and Trunks. Everyone would then begin doing their best to teach the kids, as Goku leaves to confront Buu. After going Super Saiyan 3, he tells Buu they will have someone much stronger than him ready in 2 days if he waits. So Buu would agree, and Goku returns to lookout. Buu would begin terrorizing the earth, destroying city after city as he fills his stomach with candy. After turning an entire city into rubble, he begins to stroll around, looking for people who remained, and eating them. That's when he would sense a power that feels significantly higher than anything he's killed thus far. He would turn around to see a pile of brown sludge staring at him. This is of course Bio Broly. Bio Broly and Super Buu would then begin fighting, with Super Buu easily winning. He'd of course be cocky to fight, beating him up over and over as he watches him struggle to do anything and know. Ultimately, Buu would eventually grow tired and fires the candy beam at him, eating him as a sweet treat. He's probably better off this way. Being a sweet treat is much better than being a rehash of a bad villain. Like in the original, Goku could be brought back to Otherworld, with Pycon not far behind. Upon returning, they'd head to the Supreme Kai's planet to find Gohan training with the Z-Sword, where he'd ultimately break it on a Kachian block. Gohan would then begin to get his potential unlocked. When Super Buu inevitably gets bored, he would head to the lookout to find this powerful opponent. Realizing that they need to buy time, Turles would tell Piccolo to take the kids in the time chamber, as he'll buy them some time. While Piccolo is reluctant, he'd realize it's the only way, and so he'd agree. Android 13 would also go in the time chamber, since he has no need to eat, and will be another useful ally in training up the kids. Turles would power up to Super Saiyan 2, and tell Super Buu that he is the person he should fear. Buu would laugh as he tells Turles he's barely a warm-up. So Buu and Turles would begin fighting, with Buu easily overpowering the Saiyan. After a drawn-out fight, Buu would end up killing Turles by turning him to a gumdrop. The rest of the Z-Fighters would all begin to attack Buu in a futile attempt to buy time. Of course they would all be killed, but it does prolong the inevitable. It also means that Goten and Trunks would be stronger, since they had two mentors training them intensely. When Buu enters, he'd begin fighting against Gotenks, who would be even stronger. He'd of course, however, would be more cocky, since his power is that much higher than Buu. So naturally, Piccolo would still destroy the door, and Buu would escape before Gotenks can kill him. After Gotenks opens the wormhole, the trio would exit the time chamber where they begin to feel Sinister Ki. It's all over the planet, much more different than Buu's. Piccolo's jaw drops as he realizes what's happening, shouting, "Not now!" On the Supreme Kai's planet, while they all wait for Gohan to finish potential unlock, they begin to panic at what they feel. Hell had opened up, and villains were coming out at immense speed. Otherworld has seemingly been broken, and that worries them greatly. or they want to go and help, they realize that this isn't the worst thing to come. In Hell, they sense something more sinister than even Boo himself. So Goku and Piccolo would head down there to begin fighting Janemba. Back on Earth, the Z-Fighters lose track of Boo as they begin fighting off Earth's previous foes. Piccolo mentions how this may be a blessing in disguise as it will give Goten and Trunks time to reset their fusion cooldown. As they are fighting, the Bojack gang would show up from Hell and begins assisting them in combat. At least the 4 Earthlings confused as they watch people condemned to Hell helping put people back. Bojack smiles upon seeing Goten, mentioning how he must be Goku's boy. They're the Bojack gang, gatekeepers of Hell. Lovely to make their acquaintance. Meanwhile, Boo would be walking around, eating opponents, when he comes across some familiar figures to us. Frieza, Cold, Cooler, and Cell would all be there, as they begin to mention how this one looks new. Since he isn't dead, and he's fighting Hell's forces, they would mistake Boo for a new Z-Fighter, and so they begin to attack him. While individually they're ants to Boo, combined they pose a threat to him. Boo would be backed into a corner as he realizes what he must do. Combined they are a threat, but maybe they can be something better. Maybe combined with him, they can be a great boost. Piccolo would sense Boo's ki morphing rapidly and realize that they need to go to stop the Jin now. The Bojack gang tell him to go as they'll handle it, which they agree to. Piccolo, 13, Goten, and Trunks show up to see Boo's morphed Cell body. He turns around and smiles as he shouts that he is finally perfect, which is where we're going to leave off this part. Do you guys enjoy this What If coming back? I didn't really want to do it, but, after writing the script, I quite enjoyed it. Part 6 will be pretty interesting. Boo's just absorbed for the previous fighters who gave Earth some hell, so that'll be fun. And plus, we get to see a stronger Gohan fight this one. How will Fusion Reborn go? Would you guys like to see a part 4.5 covering Trunks' timeline? Let me know. And so, yeah, bye!